For 18 months, my wife told me she was visiting her sister every Thursday night. For 18 months, I believed her. The problem was, her sister had moved to Arizona almost a year earlier. I didn't learn that from her sister. I learned it because my wife left her tablet on the kitchen counter while she was upstairs getting ready for another one of those Thursday visits. A video started playing by itself. It showed her sister standing in front of a pale stucco house under a desert sky, holding up a set of keys and laughing into the camera. "We finally made it," she said. "New house, new job, new city. Arizona, baby." The date in the corner of the video was 11 months old. My wife had told me she was at that sister's apartment every Thursday since then. My name is Ethan Cole. I was 39 when I found out my marriage had been built around a weekly lie. I live outside Columbus, Ohio. I manage operations for a regional appliance distributor, which sounds more important than it is. Mostly, I make sure trucks leave on time, warehouse schedules hold together, and nobody sends a refrigerator to the wrong state. I like systems. I like things that make sense. At the time, I had been married to Natalie for 11 years. We had one daughter, Lily, who was 8. We owned a brick house on a quiet street where everybody waved, everybody knew your dog's name, and nobody ever seemed to be carrying the kind of secret that could split a family in two. Natalie worked in event planning. She was good at it too. She could walk into an empty hotel ballroom and see the whole night before anyone else did. Lighting, flowers, seating charts, menu cards, timing, all of it. She had a gift for making people feel like something ordinary had been designed just for them. That was one of the things I loved about her. Every Thursday, she would come home from work around 5:30, kiss Lily on the forehead, change into something nicer than usual, and tell me she was going to see her sister Claire. "Girls' night," she would say. "Claire needs me." Sometimes it was because Claire was overwhelmed. Sometimes because Claire was lonely. Sometimes because Claire had a rough week at work, or because she was trying to decide whether to leave a job, date a man, move apartments, change her hair, change her life. The details changed. The Thursday nights did not. I never questioned it because Natalie and Claire had always been close. They were only 16 months apart. They talked in shorthand. They could have a 10-minute phone call that sounded like nonsense to everyone else and somehow solve a problem that had been bothering one of them for weeks. I thought Natalie was being a good sister. Looking back, I can see how carefully she built the story. She never over-explained. That would have been suspicious. She just gave me enough. Claire's making that spicy pasta again. Claire's dog got into the laundry basket. Claire bought another ugly lamp. Little domestic details. The kind that make a lie feel lived in. Thursdays became part of our routine. I picked up Lily from after-school care. We ordered pizza or made grilled cheese. We watched whatever animated movie Lily had become obsessed with that month. Natalie came home sometime after 10, smelling faintly of perfume and city air. She would lean over Lily's bed, kiss her cheek, then come downstairs and sit beside me on the couch. "How was Claire?" I would ask. "She's okay," Natalie would say. Then she would rest her head on my shoulder like she had spent the evening carrying someone else's pain. I had no reason to think she had been carrying anything except a second life. The video on the tablet played for maybe 15 seconds before I reached over and stopped it. I watched it again, then again. I checked the date. I opened Claire's profile, not because I was trying to investigate anyone. I just wanted to confirm the obvious. Maybe she had moved back. Maybe I had misunderstood something Natalie mentioned. But Claire's public posts told a very simple story. New job in Phoenix. New house outside Scottsdale. Pictures of hiking trails, desert sunsets, coworkers, a dog park I had never seen. No Ohio. I sat at our kitchen table with my coffee going cold beside me and felt something in my chest become very quiet. Not anger, not yet. It was the feeling you get when you're driving on a familiar road and realize the bridge ahead is gone. Natalie came downstairs in a navy blouse and black jeans. She had curled her hair, not dramatically, just enough that I noticed. She looked beautiful. That made it worse. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "You look pale. Bad coffee." She smiled, walked behind me, and squeezed my shoulder. "I'll be back before 11. It was the exact phrase she used almost every Thursday. I watched her leave through the kitchen window. She got into her gray SUV. She backed out carefully, just like she always did. She waved once at Lily, who was sitting on the living room rug with colored pencils. Then she drove away. I did not follow her. I want to be clear about that. I didn't put a tracker on her car. I didn't hack her accounts. I didn't take her phone. I didn't call her sister pretending to be someone else. I had one fact. Natalie was not where she said she was, and I knew that if I confronted her with only one fact, she would have 18 months of practice explaining it away. So I waited. The next day, while Lily was at school, I opened a notebook from my office drawer, the kind I used for warehouse inventory numbers and delivery problems. I wrote down every Thursday I could remember, the late dinners, the times she came home after midnight, the nights she said Claire was having a crisis, the nights Natalie came home unusually happy. I thought I might find randomness. Instead, I found a schedule, every Thursday for 18 months, nearly every single one. There had been a few exceptions, holidays. One week when Lily had the flu, another when Natalie supposedly had a migraine. But the pattern was there. I began noticing things I had ignored because I trusted her. She wore the same silver earrings every Thursday. She used a different perfume, one she kept in the back of the bathroom cabinet. She always left her wedding ring on, but she turned it inward on her finger, with the stone against her palm. I remembered seeing her do it once in a restaurant. I had asked if the ring was bothering her. She laughed and said, "It catches on things." It had not caught on anything in 11 years. The following Thursday, she told me Claire was having trouble with a coworker. "She doesn't want to talk about it over the phone," Natalie said. She said it while standing in front of the mirror, applying lipstick that was darker than the one she wore to work. "I understand," I said. Her eyes met mine in the mirror for half a second. "You do?" "Of course." She looked relieved. That was the moment I understood that lies are exhausting for the person telling them too. But relief is not innocence. Natalie left at 6. At 7:15, I was helping Lily with a math worksheet when my phone buzzed. It was a social media notification from a local restaurant page I followed. I had followed it years earlier because their kitchen bought equipment from one of our vendors. The place was called the Juniper Room. It was a narrow cocktail bar downtown, hidden between a vintage bookstore and a tailor shop. Dark green awning, brass door handles, low lights, the kind of place that made you feel underdressed unless you were wearing a jacket. The notification was a short video. "Thursday Jazz at the Juniper Room," the caption said. I almost scrolled past it. Then I saw Natalie. She was only in the frame for 2 seconds. She stood near the back bar with her body angled toward a man I didn't recognize. He was taller than me, maybe early 40s, dark hair, white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows. His hand rested at the small of her back, not casually, not the way a bartender guides a customer through a crowded room. His hand was familiar with her. Natalie looked up at him and smiled. I knew that smile. It was not the smile she gave clients. It was not the smile she gave neighbors. It was not even the smile she gave me when I brought her coffee in bed. It was softer than that, more private. It was the smile of someone who feels expected. I watched the video 3 times. Then I took a screenshot. I wrote down the time. I put my phone face down beside Lily's worksheet. "Dad?" she asked. "Yeah, sweetheart? What's wrong?" I looked at her small hand gripping the pencil. Her hair was messy from school. She had erased the same answer so many times there was a gray smudge across the page. "Nothing you need to worry about." I said it because she was 8. I said it because children should not have to carry adult evidence, but I had already begun carrying it. The Juniper Room closed at midnight on Thursdays. I knew because the website said so. Natalie came home at 10:45. "Claire okay?" I asked. She placed her purse down carefully, too carefully. "She's getting there." "What happened?" Natalie paused. "Just a fraction of a second. Her boss has been inappropriate." I nodded. Then I watched her walk upstairs. The story had changed from a difficult coworker to an inappropriate boss in less than 2 hours, and she had delivered it while still wearing the same dark lipstick from the video. That night, I didn't sleep. Natalie slept beside me, facing away. Her breathing was steady. Every now and then, her phone lit up on the nightstand. She had turned the screen face down. I didn't touch it. I stared at the ceiling and listened to the vibration stop. The next morning, I searched the Juniper Room's public business profile. The owner's name was Marcus Hale, 42, former bartender. Opened the place 4 years earlier, divorced. There were dozens of photos of him online, not polished influencer photos, mostly local event pictures, charity nights, restaurant openings, staff celebrations. In one photo, he stood beside Natalie. It was from 14 months earlier. She had told me she was at Claire's apartment that night because Claire had broken up with someone. Natalie and Marcus were not touching in the photo. They were standing close enough that their shoulders almost met. But Natalie's eyes were on him, not the camera, and he was looking at her the way people look at someone they have already kissed. I saved the photo. Then I closed my laptop. I went to work. That may sound strange, but when your life starts falling apart, there is something almost offensive about ordinary responsibilities. Trucks still had to leave. Customers still wanted updates. A dishwasher still had to get from Ohio to Pennsylvania by Friday morning. At noon, one of my drivers called because a shipment had been loaded wrong. I fixed it. I did my job. And all day, underneath every normal sentence, there was one thought repeating itself. Thursday night was never about Claire. I called my friend Daniel that weekend. Daniel and I had known each other since college. He was an attorney now, mostly contracts and small business work, not family law, not criminal law. But he was the one person I trusted not to turn pain into entertainment. I need advice, I said. About what? I stared at the rain sliding down my office window. About what to do when you think your spouse has been lying to you for a long time. Daniel was quiet. Do you have proof? Some. Then don't do anything stupid with it. That was Daniel. I wasn't planning to. Good. Preserve what you've already seen. Write down dates. Don't access anything you aren't authorized to access. And before you move money, leave the house, threaten anyone, or talk to her employer. Speak to a family law attorney in your state. He paused. And Ethan? Yeah? If Lily is involved, every decision gets slower, not faster. That sentence stayed with me. Every decision gets slower. Monday evening, Natalie asked if I wanted to watch a show after Lily went to bed. She made popcorn. She sat beside me under the same blanket we had used for years. Her knee rested against mine. You've been distant, she said. Work. You always say that when you don't want to talk. I looked at her. She was right. Maybe I don't want to talk yet. Her face changed. Did I do something? The honest answer was sitting in my phone. The larger answer was still out there somewhere, waiting behind a green awning, and a man with his hand on my wife's back. No, I said. Natalie watched me for a moment. Then she smiled. Okay. I don't think she believed me. On Tuesday, I received a message from Claire. Not a phone call, not a long text, just a photo of Lily holding a school project, with the caption, "She's getting so big." Claire had obviously seen it on Natalie's social media page. I replied, "She misses you." Claire wrote back, "I miss her too. I'm hoping we can visit this fall." I stared at that sentence. Then I wrote, "Natalie says she sees you almost every Thursday." The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally Claire wrote, "What do you mean?" My hands went cold. I didn't accuse her. I didn't send screenshots. I just wrote, "She's been telling me she visits you on Thursdays." Claire did not respond for 11 minutes. 11 minutes can be a long time when you are watching your marriage decide whether to lie again. Then she wrote, "Ethan, I haven't been in Ohio since last Christmas." I read it once, then again. I could almost hear the distance in it. "Did she tell you that I knew?" Claire added. That was the moment the story changed. Until then, I thought my wife had used her sister's name. Now I understood there was a chance her sister had been used too. I called Claire. She answered on the first ring. "Ethan, hey, is Natalie there?" "No." I heard her exhale. "Oh God. Claire, I'm not calling to attack you. I just need the truth." She started crying quietly, not dramatic crying. Not the kind people do when they want you to hear it. "I told her to stop using me," she said. "I closed my office door." "When?" "Months ago." "You knew?" "I knew she was seeing someone. I didn't know everything." "Did you know she was telling me she was with you?" "At first, no. Then she mentioned it one night. She said you wouldn't understand. She said you'd turn it into something bigger than it was." I felt a strange urge to laugh. 18 months. An entire second relationship, and I was supposedly turning it into something bigger than it was. "Who is he?" "Marcus. Marcus Hale." Claire went silent. "You know him." "I know enough." She began explaining in pieces. Natalie met Marcus while planning a private birthday event at the Juniper Room. He was charming. He remembered small things about her. He listened when she complained about work. He began sending her messages after the event was over. At first, Natalie told Claire it was harmless. He just gets me. He makes me feel seen. He talks to me like I'm not just somebody's wife and somebody's mom. Claire told her that was exactly how affairs start. Natalie got angry. You don't know what it's like, she had said. Ethan is good, he's stable, but he doesn't look at me the way Marcus does. I sat there listening to my sister-in-law describe my marriage as if it were a room Natalie had quietly left months before. Did she sleep with him? I asked. Claire's breath caught. Ethan, I need the truth. Yes, there are answers that hurt because they are surprising. And there are answers that hurt because your body knew them before your mind was willing to say them out loud. How long? I don't know exactly. More than a year. Where? The bar. Sometimes his apartment. Sometimes hotels when he had events out of town. I gripped the edge of my desk. Natalie said Thursdays were easiest because you expected her to be with me. Claire was crying harder now. I'm sorry, I should have told you. I should have called you the first time I realized she was using my name. Why didn't you? Because she's my sister. And because she kept saying she was going to end it. That sentence is how people stay inside lies. Not because they believe the lie is right. Because they believe it will end before they have to become part of the truth. I asked Claire if she would give me a timeline. She hesitated. I don't want to destroy her. I looked out at the warehouse floor below my office. Forklifts moved between rows. Someone laughed near the loading dock. A normal world kept moving. Claire, I'm not asking you to destroy her. I'm asking you to stop helping her destroy me. Okay, she whispered. That evening, Claire emailed me a document. It wasn't dramatic. No photos, no secret recordings, no intimate videos, just dates. The first night Natalie mentioned Marcus. The first night she admitted she had kissed him. The night she said she had slept with him. The dates she had asked Claire to cover for her. The weekends when Natalie told me she was helping Claire pack, even though Claire had already moved. The times Claire had refused to lie for her. And one note at the bottom. She said he closed the bar early for her every Thursday. She thought that meant she mattered more than the other women. Other women. Other women. I read that line until the words blurred. Natalie had not told Claire that Marcus was seeing other women, or maybe she knew and refused to believe it. Either way, I suddenly saw the shape of the trap. Marcus gave Natalie a private booth after closing. A hidden hour, a back door, a drink he only made for her. Texts that made her feel chosen, and she had mistaken secrecy for intimacy. Thursday came again. Natalie got ready in the upstairs bathroom. I could hear drawers opening, the soft click of a lipstick case, a perfume bottle tapping against the counter. Lily was at the kitchen island, working on a poster for school. Mom, are you going to Aunt Claire's? Natalie froze for half a second. Yes, honey. Lily looked up, but Aunt Claire sent me a cactus sticker from Arizona. The room went silent. Natalie looked at me. I looked back. She did, Natalie asked. Lily nodded. She said she misses us. Natalie's face softened toward Lily, then hardened in a different way when she looked at me. She knew, not everything, but enough. Can we talk? She asked. After Lily goes to bed, I said. Natalie stood in the kitchen doorway for a moment, still holding her purse. Then she put it down. I'm not going anywhere tonight. For 18 months, she had been leaving. That night, she stayed. After Lily went upstairs, Natalie sat at the dining room table across from me. I had placed no screenshots in front of her, no timeline, no printout from Claire. I wanted to hear what she would say before she knew how much I knew. Ethan, she began, I think you've been suspicious for a while. Have I? You've been different. You lied to me about Claire. The color drained from her face. What did she say? Wrong question. That's what you want to know? No, I mean, you lied to me about where you were. I can explain. Another phrase that means the truth is already behind you. Go ahead. Natalie pressed both hands together. It started as friendship. Of course it did. Marcus was going through a hard time. His divorce had been ugly. He was lonely. And you were at his bar every Thursday because he was lonely. That's not fair. No, Natalie. Fair would have been telling me the truth 18 months ago. I didn't mean for it to happen. What happened? She looked down. You know, I want you to say it. Her eyes filled with tears. I had an affair. The words did not make the room explode. They landed quietly, like a glass set down on a table. How long? I don't know. That's not true. Over a year. How much over? About 16 months. Claire's timeline said 18. Even now, with the truth sitting between us, Natalie was trying to make it smaller. Did you use Claire as an alibi? Yes. Did she agree? Not at first. She didn't want to be involved. But you involved her anyway. I know. Did Marcus close the bar early for you? Natalie looked up sharply. How do you know that? Answer me. Sometimes. Every Thursday. Not every Thursday. Most Thursdays? Yes. I pictured it. The staff finishing up. Chairs turned upside down on tables. The front sign switched from open to closed. Natalie arriving through a side entrance while I made grilled cheese with Lily. Marcus pouring her the same drink. A private ritual. A life she had built in the hours I thought belonged to her sister. What did you do there? I asked. Natalie wiped her face. Ethan, please. I'm not asking for details to hurt myself. I'm asking because you made me live inside a lie. I need to understand its size. We talked. We drank. Sometimes we went upstairs. The Juniper room had an apartment above it. I knew that from the business listing. There was a room he used for storage, she continued. He turned part of it into an office. An office. The word sounded almost ridiculous. He had a couch, a record player. He kept a blanket there. Her voice broke. He knew what wine I liked. He knew what music calmed me down. He would make me this drink with rosemary and grapefruit. He called it Thursday's Remedy. That hurt more than I expected. Not because of the drink, because of the tenderness of it, because she had allowed another man to learn the small map of her comforts while I sat at home believing she was comforting her sister. Did you tell him about me? Yes. What did you tell him? Nothing cruel. That was not an answer. Natalie, I said you were a good father. And? I said you were predictable. I nodded slowly. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? I meant, you always know what you want. Dinner at the same time, bills paid early, weekends planned, you're safe. And Marcus wasn't? Marcus made me feel spontaneous. There it was. The confession beneath the confession. Natalie had not fallen into an affair because I was cruel, absent, or abusive. She had chosen a man who made secrecy feel like excitement, and she had used my reliability as the floor beneath her feet while she reached for something else. Did you love him? I asked. I thought I did. Do you love him now? I don't know. You've had 18 months to know. She covered her face. He said he was going to sell the bar, and he said maybe we could leave. I felt no surprise. But then he would pull away. He'd say he was overwhelmed. He'd say I was putting pressure on him. Because you were his wife in private, but not in public. Natalie looked at me. He didn't say it like that. He didn't have to. I told her I knew about the other women. Her face changed again. What other women? Claire said you believed he was seeing other women. No. Did you ask him? He told me there was no one else. I almost felt sorry for her then. Almost. You lied to me for 18 months. You lied to your sister. You lied to Lily every Thursday. And you trusted a man who had trained you to enter through the side door. I know. No. You know you got caught. Natalie began crying harder. I'm sorry. I believe you're sorry. I don't know if you're sorry you did it, or sorry it stopped being convenient. I told her she would sleep in the guest room. I told her not to contact Marcus that night. She asked if I was going to leave her. I told her I had no answer yet. But I'm not deciding our future in this room at midnight while you're still trying to reduce what happened. She nodded. What do you want me to do? Tell Lily you're staying with Claire's friend for a few days. That's another lie. It is a boundary around a child who does not need this truth tonight. The next morning, Natalie packed a suitcase. She moved slowly. She kept looking at family photos as if they might argue with her. Lily came downstairs in pajamas and asked why Mom had a bag. Mom needs to stay somewhere else for a few days, I said. Is she going to Aunt Claire's? Natalie closed her eyes. No, sweetheart, she said quietly. Not Aunt Claire's. It was the first true thing she had said about Thursday nights in a long time. Natalie stayed at a hotel near her office for 3 nights. During that time, I did what Daniel had advised. I spoke with a family law attorney. I made copies of bank statements. I documented the public posts, Claire's message, and the timeline she provided. I did not post anything online. I did not contact Marcus. I did not tell coworkers. I told my older brother, Ryan, because I needed one person who could pick Lily up from school if I broke down in the middle of the day. He said, "I'm here." Then he asked if I wanted him to have a conversation with Marcus. I said no. I had already seen how easy it was for men to confuse violence with loyalty. On the fourth day, Natalie asked to come home and talk. We met in the living room while Lily was at Ryan's house making cookies with her cousins. Natalie looked smaller than she had a week earlier. Not physically, but some people seem to shrink when they are no longer protected by the version of themselves they sold to everyone else. "I ended it," she said. "How?" "I called Marcus." "What did he say?" Natalie swallowed. "He said I was overreacting." "Of course he did. He said you probably just needed time to cool down." There it was again. The confidence of a man who had never had to see the damage he helped create. "I told him Claire had told you everything," Natalie continued. He got quiet. "Did he deny the other women?" "No." Natalie's eyes filled. "He said I knew what this was." That was the sentence that finally reached her. Not my pain, not Claire's tears, not Lily asking whether her mother was going to Aunt Claire's. Marcus telling her she had misunderstood her place in his life. "I thought he loved me," she whispered. "Maybe he loved having you." She flinched. "Those are not the same thing." Natalie asked if I would try counseling. I did not say yes. I did not say no. I said, "If we do anything, it starts with the whole truth." "You have it." "No. I have what Claire knew. I have what public videos showed. I have what you admitted after you were caught." "That is not the whole truth." I told her I wanted a written timeline, not graphic details. Not a list designed to torture either of us, but dates, lies, money spent, travel, places, anyone who had been asked to cover for her, and whether there were any risks to our finances or Lily's well-being. "You want me to write it down? You built this in words. You can start taking responsibility in words." She agreed. The timeline arrived 2 days later. 43 pages. I expected it to be painful. I did not expect it to be so ordinary. First conversation after an event. First drink after closing. First kiss in the back hallway. First lie about Claire. First night in the apartment above the bar. First time Natalie told Marcus she might leave me. First time Marcus did not answer. There were photos described in the timeline that she said she had deleted. There were gifts. A bracelet she claimed was from Claire. A silk scarf she said she bought at a craft fair. A book of poems Marcus had marked with private notes. There were messages she had erased from her phone but copied into a hidden email draft account. She wrote that Marcus called her N. She wrote that he had a playlist named after a street near the bar. She wrote that every Thursday he told her, "You're safe here." And every Thursday she came home to the man who had actually made her safe. I read the timeline over 2 days. Then I put it in a locked drawer. Some truths are necessary. Not all of them need to be revisited. A week later, Claire flew in from Arizona. She asked if she could see me before seeing Natalie. We met at a coffee shop near the airport. Claire looked exhausted. She wore a gray sweatshirt, no makeup, and the expression of someone who had spent months pretending not to hear a fire alarm. "I'm sorry," she said before sitting down. "You said that already." "I know. I just don't know what else to say." I understood that. There are moments when language is too small. "Why did she choose you?" I asked. "Because I was the one person she knew you wouldn't question." That hurt. Trust is often treated like a virtue, but in the wrong hands, trust becomes camouflage. "She told me you trusted me," Claire said. "She said you'd never call to check." She was right. I should have called you. "Yes," Claire nodded. "I know." I asked her whether Natalie had ever talked about leaving Lily. Claire looked shocked. "No, never." "Leaving me?" She talked about it, but every time it got real, she panicked. That did not comfort me. It told me Natalie wanted the thrill of an exit without the responsibility of actually walking through the door. Claire gave me one more piece of information. Marcus had another woman before Natalie. "How do you know?" "Natalie found a photo on his phone once. She told me about it crying. He said it was old." "Was it?" Claire looked down. "I don't think so." I did not need more proof. Marcus was not the story. He was a man who offered an unlocked side door. Natalie was the one who walked through it, again and again, while telling her daughter she was visiting family. Over the next few months, Natalie and I began structured counseling. I did it for clarity, not reconciliation. That distinction mattered. In the first session, Natalie said she had felt invisible. The counselor asked her whether she had ever told me that directly. Natalie said no. The counselor asked why not. Natalie answered, because it was easier to tell someone who made me feel special. I respected the honesty. I did not accept it as an excuse. You had choices, I said. You could have talked to me. You could have asked for counseling. You could have left. You chose deception because it gave you both stability and excitement. Natalie cried. The counselor did not rush to comfort her. Neither did I. Lily adjusted slowly. Children feel weather changes in a house before adults admit a storm exists. One night she asked me, "Did Mom do something bad?" I had prepared for that question and still felt unprepared. "Mom made choices that hurt our family," I told her. "Did she hurt you?" "Yes." "Did she hurt me?" I paused. "Not because of anything you did. Never because of you." "Are you going to get divorced?" "I don't know yet." Lily nodded like she understood. Then she said, "I wish Aunt Claire lived closer." That was the part that broke me. Natalie's lie had not only used Claire's name, it had stolen a real relationship from Lily too. Natalie moved into an apartment 6 months later. We did not make the decision in one explosive fight. There was no dramatic suitcase by the door, no shouting in the driveway. We reached a point where I understood something important. Forgiveness and reconciliation are not the same thing. I could eventually stop wanting to punish Natalie, but I could not make myself feel safe beside her. "I don't want to lose you," she told me the night we agreed to separate. "You lost me in pieces," I said. "I'm just finally admitting it happened." She cried. I did too. People think leaving means you never loved someone. Sometimes leaving is the last honest thing love can do. We worked out a parenting schedule through our attorneys and kept the conversation centered on Lily. I did not try to turn her against Natalie. I did not tell our daughter details that belonged to adult failure. Natalie began individual therapy. She stopped working events at bars. She changed jobs. I don't say that to make her sound redeemed. Change is not redemption. Change is work you do after the people you hurt are no longer required to wait for you. I heard the Juniper Room closed about 8 months after everything came out. Marcus had sold it. Someone mentioned seeing him in Nashville. Someone else said he moved in with a woman from Chicago. I never checked. I did not need to know. There is a point when gathering more facts becomes another way of keeping the wound alive. A year after I saw that video on Natalie's tablet, Claire came back to Ohio for Lily's 9th birthday. We had the party in my backyard. Nothing elaborate. Pizza, cupcakes, a sprinkler, too many children running through the grass with juice boxes. Lily opened a gift from Claire, a little terrarium kit with tiny plastic cactuses. "For my room," Lily said. Claire smiled. "For your room." Natalie stood across the yard holding a paper plate. She looked at her sister for a long time. Claire looked back. There was love there, and damage. Families can hold both. Natalie came over to me later, when Lily was blowing out the candles. "Thank you for letting Claire come," she said. "She's Lily's aunt." "I know." Natalie hesitated. "I don't expect you to forgive me." "Good." She looked down. "But I hope you keep doing the work for Lily." "I will." I believed she meant it. That was enough for that moment. Later that night, after everyone had gone home, I stood alone in the backyard picking up paper cups. The sun had gone down. The porch light was on. Somewhere down the street, someone was mowing a lawn too late in the evening. Lily was asleep upstairs. Her cactus terrarium sat on the windowsill. A small thing from Arizona, a place Natalie had claimed to visit every Thursday without ever going there. I thought about all those nights, the pizza boxes, the cartoons, the homework, the questions I didn't ask because I loved my wife and trusted her sister. I used to think being predictable was an insult. Marcus had been exciting. I had been predictable. But predictable meant Lily knew I would be home. It meant the bills were paid. It meant I answered the phone. It meant I did not turn love into a secret appointment after closing time. I stopped seeing stability as the thing that made me less desirable. I started seeing it as proof of the man I had been all along. A man who deserved honesty. A father who deserved peace. A person who could survive being lied to without becoming a liar himself. Natalie had spent 18 months telling me she was visiting her sister. In the end, her sister was the one who finally told me the truth. And the truth hurt. But it gave me back my life. If this story stayed with you, tell me in the comments. Would you have confronted her the first night or waited until you understood the full truth? And if you want more long-form stories about betrayal, boundaries, and rebuilding after the truth comes out. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for listening.
Clock strikes, silence wraps the room. A gentle breath, memories bloom. In corners where laughter used to spill, you linger here, you always will. Yeah.
Curtains drawn, the sunlight spills on me, tracing lines you left in quiet honesty. Words unspoken, pressed in dust and air. Soft echoes, marking everywhere. Yeah.
Heartbeat steady in the hush you made.
Caught between retreat and the parade, I find myself replaying every scene, every little whisper in between.
You are the thunder in a sunlit haze, the taste of coffee at the break of day. Still I wear your favorite jacket, walk familiar alleys, looking for laughter we used to chase.
I couldn't bother living.
She steps in, painted in autumn tones, speaking truth in melodies grown. Her words a shelter from the gentle rain, wishing I could go back there again. We made mistakes tied up in time, but every fall felt worth the climb. When comfort wore your cologne and smile, a moment's warmth that stays a while. You are the thunder in a sunlit haze, the taste of coffee at the break of day. Still I wear your favorite jacket, walk familiar alleys, looking for laughter